Hello and welcome back to the A Show with the Kings of Pro Wrestling Podcasts. I am Justin, here with Meals. What's going on, Meals?
You can't hear that. That sounds weird in audio, I'm assuming.
I was like, of course, we are broadcasting live on video as well this week because, of course, this is our special A Show WrestleMania 40 Prediction Party episode. We have Meals.
Yes.
For 4 hours.
No, it's gonna be longer than that. I'm almost sure it's gonna be longer.
I cut some of it yesterday. I cut some of it yesterday. It's about in 3 now. It'll probably be another hour here. Yeah, we're looking at 4. So strap in, guys. This is gonna be a long one. We got special guests. We got a taste test. Test that's coming up. Boy, we have a lot of stuff to talk about this week.
I just want to say from the future to my past self about Prime, knock off at least a star. How about that? Well, I'll just say that to my past self from my future self. Just knock off a star. I know what I said, but I don't mean it anymore.
My God.
But with that said, I mean, WrestleMania week, man, this is the most exciting week in all of professional wrestling, to be honest with you. And we've done, first of all, this is like our 6th or 7th one. Shout out to us for doing this thing, man.
We're crazy.
Shout out to everyone. We're nuts because I feel like on my 8th hour of this, and then going to 3 hours of Monday Night Raw. So I went to Raw last night. I was at Barclays Center. Did you see how loud we were for The Rock at the beginning? What, you thought we were gonna boo him?
What's wrong with y'all?
It's The Rock. It's The Rock. I've never seen The Rock live. The Rock was my first ever favorite wrestler, and I've never seen him live. You better believe.
Waited till he was 50 to cheer him. Come on, man.
It's not like I could have waited to from his 30s and 40s. He did not wrestle.
Get off the boo boo. Get off the boo boo. This is ridiculous. He's ridiculous.
It was an electrifying experience, bro.
Listen, I feel like he did nothing and continues to do nothing to dissuade people from cheering him. He does not. The only time it kind of got to that point
was at the end.
Was at the end.
The promo.
But also during the promo when he doesn't talk to somebody about somebody directly, people are cheering. And then when he does talk about Cody directly, they boo. When they talk about Seth, y'all booed. When he was talking shit about Seth, y'all booed. Y'all loved Seth last night. He was the man.
Seth has been in Brooklyn every time. I feel like it's been at Brooklyn.
Yeah.
Like legitimately every time. Like he debuted. I think he debuts in Brooklyn, to be honest with you. I think that TLC 2012 was in Barclays Center. It's like the first pay-per-view at Barclays Center.
Yeah.
So people love Seth Rollins at Barclays Center. He got attacked there like 2 years ago.
Won the title.
Yeah, won the title there. Listen, we love Seth. We loved Cody too. We knew Cody was coming at the end. And that's how they get the hook, like legitimately 3 hours, right? The Rock comes out. They do this massive 30-35 minute promo, right? Rock, yeah. Roman, everyone loses their mind. People couldn't wait to. It felt like we were renewed vigor for Roman Reigns. Of just like, yes, we can put the ones up. Finally, he's here. And then they had the promo, and with Seth trying to challenge The Rock, and we were like, oh shit, we about to get The Rock. And he was like, no, it was never gonna get The Rock.
Yeah.
Shout out to that kid who was like this the entire time.
Weird. Super weird. But it looks like I feel like he don't get outside.
See, I have my Metro card. This is very New York of me.
You just hit that with the phone, right?
No, I don't do that. I still use my Metro card. Like they're trying to get rid of Metro cards, but Eric Adams, New York City, I don't really. It's a bad look.
That's your nigga. That's your nigga.
I'm glad no one showed up and started punching The Rock in the face randomly. How about that?
I would have loved it. But listen, it was a hot show.
It was a hot show.
Y'all were a hot crowd.
Immediately after The Rock and Roman left, everyone was like, "All right, bathroom, drinks." Everyone left for the 8-man tag.
To be fair, it was a hot go home. I thought it was a great go home. I thought that the matches were like, if you were judging those matches on any type of like real like consistent type basis, then you're fucked up.
Yeah,
it's not really even about that last night. It was not about that.
And I thought everyone who's on the card at least attempted, and who's not on WrestleMania, attempted to do a good job at giving us something.
A show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And because I saw like Tegan, Shayna, and Zoe were working.
They was quiet for that. I was like, I felt bad because I
felt bad. Towards the end, we started thinking it because I think we saw that they were working. We thought this was going to be a short ass match.
Yeah.
Asuka's doing butt stuff. I'm not even sure if that was on camera. Did you see that? Was that on commercial?
It might. No, I think it was live.
Okay, yeah, they're doing like butt stuff, like throw a thing in her butt, and then Kyrie accidentally goes in her butt, and all this other stuff like that. They were really working. Ricochet, Ivar working.
Oh, crazy match.
I knew it was important because he knows he's not on WrestleMania, but he also doesn't really do the 6:30 anymore unless it's special.
Yeah.
So essentially, this is his WrestleMania, so that's why he did the 6:30.
Oh, that's cool. I was like 6:30 for Ivar, nigga. When I was like, I guess.
But he's like, yeah, I'm not on WrestleMania.
What was the strongest to me on that show is to prove that, like, as over as The Rock is, he is at a, like, Cody and Seth to a certain extent are at a level, or at a level, even if it's like a little tiny bit above him there, because they fucking love those two. And at the end, they were fucking hating that ending. But I thought the ending was effective. But it scares me. It scared me, Mills. It scared me because it feels like I don't know. Like I'm worried, bro. I'm really worried.
We already recorded our part. There's no going back. We already recorded the ending.
But real talk, like it definitely was a great show.
Right.
I think this has been a string of really good Raws.
Shout out to Solo Sikoa. Solo Sikoa sounded like someone dubbed over his voice. I was like, you speak?
I will. You're gonna like me. Where the fuck was Bailey? This is so odd that she has been off TV for 2 weeks.
I agree. Brooklyn should be like her second home.
Yeah.
She should be here. Like, you know what I'm saying?
That was my main gripe. I figured that Bianca, Jade, all of them would come out. I don't know what they're waiting for. Maybe Friday? It would have to be Friday, right? Because
it would have Bianca was live tweeting women's basketball. So she wasn't even watching Raw.
Yeah, she wasn't there. Okay. Yeah, I was like, where is everybody? But I get it, you know, like you still got damage control working, so like that makes sense too.
Right.
We have a lot to get to. I want to just run down a lot of stuff that's happened this week. WWE's touting 30 hours of programming.
It's ridiculous. I saw when they showed that in the center, I was like, what are we supposed to be watching?
Exactly. I think I've gotten through 4 or 5 of these hours already. I did watch the Bray documentary yesterday.
Haven't watched it yet, but
I did watch that yesterday. It's fantastic. Incredibly sad. I think the strongest parts of it is that WWE has so many, and you're going to see it when you see it too. They have so many interviews with this guy that they've never shown before. And I think that is there are so many. There are interviews and behind the scenes of the Funhouse, which I think you're really going to enjoy. I think you're going to enjoy that a lot, actually. The Funhouse behind the scenes, the making of the masks, the making of his character was really good. The home life stuff was great. You get to see his art room. You get to see how he created. Bray was a fucking talented guy. Wyndham was a really talented guy. Like, he could draw. He drew Mr. Howdy. That mask was from a sketch that he made.
Wow. Okay.
It's from a sketch that he made it, and he redid it while he was waiting to re-debut in Extreme Rules. And it was the guy was just talented beyond measure. I almost feel like wrestling was too small for him. You know what I mean? Because of all of the things that he wanted to do. He should have been a special effects guy. He should have been a movie. He should have been an actor. He should have been these things, and he should have got a chance to do all those things. And watching that really shows you just the gulf of talent that this guy had. It's just great. It really is, and a lot of it's narrated by Undertaker, but the real key is Bo. Bo is the heart and soul of this documentary, and you know, when he comes back, whenever he decides to come back, like, he's gonna get so much love because Bray was like his superhero. And he literally lets you know that from the beginning. That documentary is about 2 hours long. It's really, really good. Good interviews with a lot of people. Some really good LA Knight lines. He gets interviewed in it. Seth, of course, Becky, Finn, Triple H, of course, everybody. It's so good.
Wow. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Good to know. Good to know. I watch Roman Reigns on A&E.
I am 35 minutes in to that. So
it is everything that you expect from Roman Reigns at this point.
The tone is very much like well, let's talk about the tone of Roman this week. He's doing a lot of press. He seems like he narrated the A&E doc, which I've seen a little bit of that you watched. He's narrating it in character, but also promoting WrestleMania 40 in it, like it's something that you must watch. He says in it, I haven't got to this part where he says in the documentary, you know, when I lose this, if I ever lose this, I'm done, I'm out. You know, that's his statement there. What have you felt about the vibe of Roman Reigns this week? It's felt very eerie this week.
I don't want to buy into the vibe too much because reality is, I don't know. I feel Raw got me messed up, but because I was just like, oh, Cody's definitely gonna win, and then they beat his ass for the past 2 weeks. I feel like we're closer to the end than we definitely are the beginning. He's doing a lot this week.
Yeah.
And very much like we might not see him. It's very much we're setting the stage for the next kind of people to carry that torch. And the next one is obviously Cody. Mm-hmm. And I don't know. It's just what are your thoughts?
The vibe is definitely like they mentioned in Raw. I don't think you heard the commentary.
No, Raw. I haven't gone back.
They mentioned on Raw that he ties Hogan on Saturday, passes Hogan on Sunday. And I said, oh, thanks for that nugget of information.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. Because again, the timing lines up. You know what I mean? The timing lines up. It makes the most sense. To me, it's like they're letting it go. He's inducting Paul Heyman. Yeah. You know what I mean? This is a lot more press and stuff than Roman has done in the past 4 years.
I would hope so. Damn. As much as we paying you, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. You got 2 main events each night. You got the documentary. We got everything going on. Sometimes I actually think it may be too much content from WWE. I get what they're trying to do, which is put as many eyes on WrestleMania as possible. So they're there. We're streaming here. We're Pat McAfee here. We're Tonight Show here. We're this there. And another 20 years ago, this is all we wanted, right? The best thing I saw 20 years ago was John Cena showed up on 106 in Park. I was like, oh, yes. This is what I want. Like, my world's crossing over. And now I feel like sometimes WWE, with their schedule of programming for the next week, I'm like, yo, this is a lot. Like, I'm like, what am I?
It comes around once a year, though.
I know, but they got the 2-hour press conference that they're streaming live on YouTube. Well, they're streaming Pat McAfee show, I think Thursday and Friday, not sure, from WWE World. But then they're also doing a 2-hour thing at WWE World before SmackDown. And then they're doing SmackDown. Then they're doing Hall of Fame. Then you come back the next day. They're doing the NXT Stand and Deliver. Then after that, we're doing the kickoff show for WrestleMania. Then we do WrestleMania. And then it kind of replays again the following day. I'm just like, ooh,
but we don't gotta watch that because they're gonna clip anything that's important. I think it really is the type of overflow that you see with NFL. The type of like, there's so many pre-shows for that. There's so many after shows. There's so many during shows during that. They're trying to treat this like it's a big sporting event. It's good to see the growth. You know what I mean? I'm not watching a lot of that shit.
NXT, I don't blame you.
NXT might not even get a watch for me tonight because I know I have so much shit to watch, and I'm pretty much kind of like I've expended all of my care for all the programs.
Doing this, to be honest with you.
No, it's not even that. It's like I've expended all of my care. It
is for me.
get to the reset with them, but it's like I'll give SmackDown a watch. I gotta watch the Hall of Fame. Heyman's speech is gonna be generational. Like Heyman's speech is gonna be amazing. And it's not even like a strong on the outset. It's not like a strong lineup. So Heyman just has all of the time to knock it out the park. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be great. But again, what
WrestleMania weekend? Do you like completely clear your schedule? Like, don't talk to me. Don't. Yeah. It's a wrap. Like, I don't want to be needed for anything. I don't want to be wanted for anything.
Remember the past two, I've been there. I've been gone, right. or I've either been there or I've been getting ready to go. So like it's been like it's inundated my whole life. Like it's my Super Bowl. Like you know what I mean? Like it's the one event a year that I get super excited about. And I got people coming over. Cyrus is coming out this weekend, and I'm gonna have people over. Josh gonna be here. Pat's gonna be here. Everybody's gonna be over watching, and it's a big deal. You know what I mean? Like, and I think it's easy for my friends to support it. Because it's not like I'm asking them to go to a Super Bowl party. It's like literally just come over and just kick it while we watch this, 3-hour show. But it's exciting. I'm still excited, even with all of the 30 hours of content. Like I got to get through the Roman Reigns thing. I can't wait to finish that. It's really, really good so far. And then, I mean, just they kicked it off yesterday on Monday. Ariel Helwani. We got to talk about it.
It's part of our listen. I'm gonna come up with like a CM Punk playlist of the A Show moments,
bro.
and it's gonna be like 8 hours. It's gonna be worth it.
I almost feel like I need to put the Idols Become Rivals under this because he did it again. he did it again.
And it's interesting WWE's placement with all of this because they know what the hell they're doing. This didn't come this week for no fucking reason. They could have done this months ago. They could have done this at the Royal Rumble. They knew that, listen, this media storm, we're going to get people talking. We're going to get all the attention for this. This was something I was looking forward to. I made it. We were recording another part of the show while this aired. And I made it appointment viewing after we finished recording. I locked off the internet because I didn't even want to be dissuaded by people's opinions or annoyed, to be honest with you. I kind of wanted to watch it all in full. What were your kind of overall thoughts on CM Punk? With this being pretty much his most long form interview since the Colt Cabana podcast.
Yeah.
To be honest with you. What are your kind of thoughts on Punk, on where he's at, what he experienced, and kind of just what he said?
I'm glad he's finally telling the truth. I feel like right, like a lot of where he was at with WWE it came from a place of hurt. You know what I mean? It came from, again, we said this before. We said it when he left AEW. The place that you thought was for you, it wasn't for you. But the place that you thought you hated was really the place that you loved all along. And that's why he was lashing out and doing the things that he was doing, because there was a lot of hurt there. And we said this on the show before. There was a lot of hurt that happened and a lot of healing that needed to happen and a lot of people that needed to leave. But
I also feel kind of justified too, a little bit.
Yeah. Well, yes. Well, I mean, it justified even in the sense that, like, we were saying this stuff about him being in that company. It didn't look right. It didn't feel right. It was like he was facing, like, second string guys over there. But
even though this is like the company, we've said it millions of times, this is the audience in the company that he's kind of like created himself just based on.
Yes.
His legacy has pretty much, this is the offspring of that.
But he didn't know the nasty parts of it. You know what I'm saying? The thing that he created, it had mutated. You know what I mean? And it had gotten toxic. It got more toxic. I think that when he said that stuff, he didn't know what the runoff would be, because that began people saying, well, I'm going to go on the internet and do what my hero Punk told me to do.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And he bolstered that type of personality. And I think when he got there, he realized, I can't make money doing this type of shit. I can't make money doing it. I think that was my thought about the whole 2-hour interview that he had with Ariel, was that he seems clear and he seems like he's also still very upset at how he was treated there. I think he was very upset. I think we learned a lot of things. I mean, we could run off a list of a lot of things that we learned. We learned that a lot of the reporting was true.
Yeah.
We learned a lot of reporting was true. We learned that he didn't have a NDA. He didn't have a non-compete either.
Well, he didn't have an NDA. He does have an NDA for Brawl Out.
He has an NDA from talking about certain things that someone did. He said that he said, I don't have an NDA for anything
I did. Right.
Yeah. But it's something and he was very clear, and it's very clear to me. Is it clear that somebody said something or did something to his dog, and that's why there's an NDA? I feel like that's the sense I got from it.
I also got the sense because there was a little bit. It was a short part of the clip, but it was also telling. Ariel asked him, "Did you was your tricep injured in the match or in the fight?"
In the fight, yeah.
He said he didn't. And I was like, "Oh, okay." Because if it was in the match, he would have said something like, but if it was, I was just like, "Wow, okay, all right."
He basically chronicles backwards. By the way, he chronicles All Out and goes backwards from there. What were your thoughts on them not picking him up? Your thoughts on the Jack Perry thing? At this point, Punk was already ready to go. He actually even said that he told Tony to let him go before Collision even aired.
Yeah. Before, I think when Brawl Out happened, he was like, "Yo, why just let me go?" And he was like, "I can't let you go."
Yeah. And again, remember we talked about this last year. Why is he not in the promotional materials? Why is he not at the upfronts? Why did they wait so long to even say any of this stuff? This stuff's been going on. They also confirmed that he wasn't talking to Tony without his lawyer present. I'm like, this was a contentious relationship almost from after his first year there. Yeah. How crazy is that?
This, to me, it kind of shows you and tells you everything you kind of need to know about how Tony Khan runs AEW, and he made it clear to say, like, Tony Khan's not a boss, he's a friend. And that line should be more scathing than anything, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
That line should be a clear indication of how he treats his thing, because to be honest, everyone says they love Tony Khan. He's a great guy to talk to. He's a great guy to listen to. He's great to bounce ideas off. He loves wrestling just as much as they love wrestling. And that's why people who really, really love wrestling probably love it over there. That's why Bryan Danielson can't get enough of it, to be honest with you. But as someone who is worried about the business, worried about perception, worried about selling seats and stuff like that, you look at the attendance, you look at the ratings for AEW this week. They're down further than they've been. They're doing pandemic ratings.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
NXT,
it's bad.
They're doing NXT.
They damn near doing pandemic attendance. You know what I'm saying?
And again, like he said that he came to realize when he got there that this was not what it was promised to him that it would be. And what stood out to me was Ariel saying, "Do you feel like they wanted you there?" And he said that he feels like they never wanted him there in the first place. And because of things that he's seen, the things that he heard. What were your thoughts on him saying that? Because that felt like the most sobering part to me, that he had to admit that.
I feel like the person who wanted him there was no longer there after a while. And I think
Who's
lot
that?
of this
Who's that?
Cody. I feel like a lot of these things kind of run back to, like, Cody shouldered a lot of the blame when the AEW things in the beginning. It wasn't really Tony Khan. While Tony Khan was there, it wasn't really like he shouldered much of the blame. It wasn't until Cody left that a lot of these things kind of, like, the direction of how the company, we've always heard this, like, kind of like rift between how things go, how Cody kind of want to run things, and how pretty much the rest of the EVPs and Tony kind of wanted to run things. And they're currently running it how they want to run it now.
Yeah.
And you can see from Cody's interviews, Cody's mindset, it's kind of similar to Punk in terms of, like, worrying about the business of it. How we selling shirts. Yeah.
Punk says,
grew up in it.
Yeah, Punk says throughout, am I setting up a program? Am I not? He says every time I say somebody's name, they come back. He says that, right? He says it about AJ. He says it.
I even think he did it with the first Collision promo, the counterfeit Bucks thing. Even though I feel like it was very contentious between them, I feel like at the end of the day, knowing him, he's still trying to set up things in the future. He's still trying to set up the future business, because he's done the same thing with Rock and Roman recently. Like, he knows where the money is going to be. And at least I can start planting these seeds in the future. I can start planting these seeds. So, like, eventually we move over to that program. If that program with the Bucks and Punk and Kenny and thing happened, if they got to a place where they can happen, there's probably a lot of momentum going into AEW currently.
Yeah.
But the mere fact that they couldn't get it right, and a lot of things it's because Tony refused, and we've said this a million times. Like we talked about this ad nauseum, because of Tony refusal to be actually a boss in this situation. He's not a boss, not Dame Dash, not anything. He's very like Punk said a lot of times, either you handle it,
or I will,
or I will, and you're not gonna like the way I handle it.
Yeah.
And Tony never handled it because he never really wanted to be in the middle of the egos, never wanted to stray away from these friendships and the way he sees these wrestlers as kind of like superheroes when ultimately you're their boss.
Yeah.
And that's always been the critique of, that's what Eric Bischoff, that's what, to be honest, probably Triple H, CM Punk, a lot of people, when they talk about Tony Khan, talk about kind of the way he did business. And you see how Nick Khan kind of does business. He credits Nick Khan for bringing him back to WWE. Even before he went on that Fox show, he was like, it was always Nick Khan who won. And Nick Khan wasn't even the CEO back then.
Yeah.
But he was always like, Nick Khan always wanted to bring me back into the fold. And
it was a long game.
Yeah.
It was,
and I'm not surprised it happened.
Yeah, it was a long game. I mean, to go back to like the WWE thing, he reveals that he didn't know anything about the teases they were doing in the weeks to come before Survivor Series, because he had only signed his contract like the day before he was
the week of Thanksgiving. Yeah,
the week of Thanksgiving. He says he got a call from Nick Khan. And the timing of this too, Meals, because he was out of AEW in August, September, so they waited.
Yeah, it was after All Out, so it was definitely like the Friday. It was like August 31st.
Like Nick asks him if he has a non-compete, and Punk says no, and he's just like, well, shit, I should have done this earlier. Like, because it makes you wonder why they thought that, because they waited the 3 months. They waited out 3 months, which is like a normal 90-day non-compete, and that's when he contacted him. It would have been around Thanksgiving. And
I'm interested with the non-compete, but I also think if you're terminated in that kind of way, I don't think you're like these people who are released from their contract. Yeah, but if you're terminated because you're, they didn't say that they released him. They say they terminated his contract,
even though he quit, which is like, again, y'all wilding. But he gets the call from Nick. Then he talks to Triple H on FaceTime, and then out of nowhere, he's on a jet. And then that whole week, it felt like we said, he feels like he's having the best week ever. He's like a whirlwind week. It was literally like that. They were like, hey, you want to go to NXT? Hey, you want to go here? You want to go to SmackDown? You want to go here? Like, they took him all over. How did you feel about that last conversation he had with Vince? And he does he talks about Vince there on the interview, but he says the last time he saw Vince was at the Towers, at the gym, of course, and never speaks to him again. How eerie was that?
It was, but also not. No, I'm kind of with him. I feel like he's the first one to kind of like, there's a lot of varying thoughts, but he also is like the thoughts that the memories I have don't supersede what he ultimately did. Yeah. And what happened. And that's kind of like how he values kind of things, right?
Yeah.
You talk about the values thing. John Cena brought it up, and that's kind of like what I go on. It depends on where your values kind of lie and how you see the person and all this stuff like that. He clearly is like, that's my boss. Like, yes, he's like, the funniest part is everyone talks about this father thing. Not my fucking father.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I got it. That he mentioned, he talks about the psychological about that, and it's weird to see people say, "Oh, he's a company man." I'm like, I feel like he definitely would be saying that, even if, you know what I'm saying, either or. He's definitely saying whatever the hell he wants to say. You know what I mean? What were your thoughts on Punk saying that after he got injured during after Brawl Out, that no one contacted him for 6 months? Nobody said anything to him. He had to do his surgeries and all that stuff by himself.
The surgeries thing is the most egregious part to me.
Knowing where he came from, knowing where he came from.
Right. The not contacting thing, I'm not as surprised, because once again, we just did a report last week. Jack Perry, haven't talked in months, probably only talked to lawyers essentially. They kind of go radio silent when they do these kind of things. They're like, maybe let's take a break, let's cooler heads prevail, let's revisit this sometime in the future. And I think that's what they did with Jack Perry, and they're probably still doing that with Jack Perry, to be honest with you. Honestly, he probably should have been released yesterday. No offense.
Yes.
But
I mean, he ruined. You want to talk about Punk ruined the company? No, Jack Perry kind of ruined the company.
And to be honest with you, I can't see him coming back after this interview.
Yeah, no, it's over. it's definitely over. I mean, he's cussing out Tony Schiavone. He's cussing out, all of the heads there.
The image of Tony Schiavone being like, "Punk, help." He cussed out Mike Mansouri, and I'm like, bro, don't you guys? What is this company?
It's crazy, and again, no one's handling this. No one wanted to be, and again, Punk also admits he said a lot more. Were you shocked at all the stuff that he was revealing here?
No, because that's the CM Punk experience, and I think people who were lesser than would not have revealed as much. I think he's only considered, the only thing he doesn't like to reveal is like the nature of the actual business itself. Mm-hmm. Because again, he's such a carny. He doesn't like talking heels and faces and things and this. He more so, but if he's talking about the experiences that he's had, that he's gone through, he's going to share them. But going back to the whole Jack Perry thing and kind of that, I just felt like, well, the injury thing, most importantly, I thought the injury thing was wild. I think him having to find his own physician, I think having to go to previous WWE doctor to say like, hey, could you help me with this? Was kind of insane. And I thought that's negligent from a company where your top star got injured in a match, pretty much securing you a major house. Where they did at the All Out in 2022. And you don't even take care of them, and they have to go find it all themselves. And it's like this we laughed about it when we talked about it. We laughed about it for All In last year, but the motherfucker sure got on the tube himself and figured out how to get it.
Yeah. I think like what he just says so many things. Again, it's a 2-hour long interview. I know Rhea Ripley was in the back like, fuck, I gotta get ready for Raw. Like, y'all would take it forever.
She was working it. She's still her it just didn't mean much to me. Cody's back on Wednesday. So I'm sure we'll get some follow-up from there about what and whether he'll answer what or what not.
What did you think about Punk saying everyone there works 1 day a week, gets paid to work 1 day a week, and doesn't want to come to work? What did you feel? I was like, oh, like he's wilding.
Because it's easier to game the system that way. I don't even blame him, because it's the structure of the company that is there. CM Punk says, we don't do this on Saturdays. You show up every fucking Saturday.
Go to Wednesdays.
Go to Wednesdays and do that bullshit. You know what I'm saying? I'm here with my friends and we're trying to make money on Saturdays.
Yeah. I looked at that and I was like, there's so many people that you could like look at that about, but it also answers so many questions and so many reports that we've heard over the past couple years. He said people just want to come in, wrestle one day, do pre-tapes and go home. And I said, damn, that sounds like a cushy job. I too would sign with AEW.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I get it because of how the structure and how much you get paid and all this other stuff. I completely get it. However, it presents a situation where now you feel people are not going to want to go to WWE, obviously, because it's like, who's trying to work house shows? Who's trying to work 3 days a week, flying every time a week? I get paid this much and da-da-da-da. It's an interesting structure over there. But also there's no checks and balances in terms of like ethics and kind of like what's right and what's wrong over there. It feels just kind of like everyone does what they does. I'm sure they're having a great old grand time. I'm sure everyone's high-fiving and oh my god, wrestling matches and blah, 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 and all this other stuff like that.
We got 5 stars today, bud.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Everyone's high-fiving over
the responses is so crazy. Like, have you seen just the meltdown? Anytime he says anything, because I think the AEW fans feel betrayed, and Punk said this too. He said that when he went to go visit them in Chicago last year, people in AEW felt betrayed. But what have you felt about like the usual suspects, all of the people who like really love the company and what they've said? There has been some crazy. I've seen people say he's a company man, he's company man Punk now, and all this stuff. But I'm like, but y'all loved this type of candidness from him, and now you hate it when it's against the thing that you love. It's crazy.
I know friends of mine who were AEW fans, and especially when Punk came over. And then what kind of All Out happened and his firing subsequently happened like the year after, they really saw kind of like how it was treated, and it really has damaged their reputation. And I'm surprised if this doesn't further damage their reputation. I mean, people are going to go and everyone's going to scrum and everyone's gonna.
He called the scrums cringe. He was like, "Scrums are stupid."
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But I'd be interested to see if he does the WWE press conferences anymore. But because I don't think he will. But also he's having a great time over here, so I don't know.
Yeah, he's having a blast. I want to get to the Randy Orton thing too. Are we? If you want to get to that now, or
we can talk to that. No, we can talk about that for sure.
Randy Orton, same day again. The content machine is rolling, and CM Punk is like a part of it because everything he does turns to gold right now for that. But Randy Orton and CM Punk watched their match from WrestleMania 27.
Which I haven't. They've watched probably one more time more than me because I don't remember that shit at all.
It was the best match on the show. It really was. And CM Punk and Orton, they get candid about how the match almost didn't happen because Orton was talking shit about Punk at the Rumble, and he heard him talk shit about him, and they got into an argument, and then they called and squashed the beef, and it was just so cool to see Randy say like, I always thought you were the man. Like I always thought you were dope. I always thought you were awesome. And just to see them talk about the match, and even in times where I was watching it and not saying anything, I was fine with that because it was like they were picking something up from it, and it's crazy Randy's mind and how much shit he remembers because of how many matches he had. He remembered this match. It was so crazy. Like what'd you feel about it?
No, I thought it was I love this kind of stuff.
Yeah,
like when one of the greatest things that happened when Stone Cold had his podcast was when he'd go over the Bret Hart match or you go over the WrestleMania 17 match, and you realize the really a lot of intricacies that happen.
Didn't he used to say start your network at 1 hour 9?
Yeah,
and then he said, all
right, we're gonna press play.
Yeah, let's press play. I was like, yo, he's so funny for this.
Right. So, and that's just the technology we had then. Now Austin could probably start a Twitch channel and do whatever the fuck he wants to do. But I thought it was so cool. I thought them just enjoying the moment and being able to look back and kind of laugh now because there was definitely an opportunity. And he talks about how you reached out to after everything kind of happened, because I wouldn't say Randy Orton has as much of a violent past, but he still has a troubled past in terms of his perception amongst people in the wrestling community. People thought he was a shithead and all this other shit like that. And
he said that was his locker room gimmick.
Yeah. And he said he reached out to Punk and really just checked on him, see if he's okay. And I don't even think Punk responded or whatever after the fact. But it was cool to hear that, and it was cool to see that. And it's cool to see just them being able to enjoy themselves, like Punk on the other side of this. And I truly hope once he talked about his injury during the Ariel Helwani thing, and it seems like he's pretty much, I wouldn't say he's cleared, but it seems like he said his recovery process is way better than the other one.
Yes, it does seem like, to me, it seems like May, June is definitely in the process. To me, I feel like he is back sooner than later. I feel like he wants to be back, sooner.
But they're trying to save him from himself.
Yeah, they're trying to save him from himself right now. I generous estimate July. Give him 7 months. Generous estimate July. Have him ready for SummerSlam. I think that's the best thing. Get a big huge gate in SummerSlam, and he'll be ready. So I would say, I tell everybody, go watch the Ariel Helwani video. Definitely watch the RKO CM Punk thing. Funniest part to me was when he goes up for the springboard RKO, and he says, and Punk's like, I tried to make it look like I was doing the clothesline. Then Orton says, yeah, because most people just do this. And he just like, and I was like, yo, they're funny because they get it. And there were moments, Mills, where he was saying, when Orton was like, see, man, I keep telling people they got to slow it down. You don't get that camera shot if you don't slow it down. And I was like, Punk is right where he needs to be, because I'm pretty sure he was already saying all of this stuff to them at AEW. I'm like, this is where this man needs to be at right now. Because
he said he don't give unsolicited advice. He's not going up to people and giving them advice or anything like that. Like, the entire interview is fascinating. Please go out your way to watch it. It's pretty much, we don't get joy out of it because we're right, even though But
there's no joy for me because there's joy for me because they called us crazy.
Yeah,
they called us crazy.
And they still are. I mean,
they're stupid. It's okay. Once this all goes down, they'll all see. They'll all see the real truth. Okay, what else happened? There were AEW releases. Since we're gonna stick to that right now.
They finally got the hint, huh?
Yeah.
I got it pulled up.
Okay, I got it too.
All
I got it too.
All right, go ahead then.
So they released the boys, and that's Dalton Castle's boys. Dasha Kuret, she was the former Dasha from WWE.
Fuentes, yeah, she was like Dasha Fuentes in WWE.
Jose the assistant, Jora Joel, Anthony Henry, Gravity, Stu Grayson, again, Parker Bordeaux, and Slim J. Here's the thing: wasn't Gravity like this big meme? He was like the game changer.
They don't know what the fuck they're doing over there, bro.
Parker
they put him against Pac because he was the guy that Gravity forgot, and versus Gravity. I was like, this is what we're doing, and y'all just like chuckling up and stuff.
Parker Bordeaux, you signed him right after he got released by NXT. There must have been a reason why he got let go from NXT, y'all. If he couldn't even make it past the developmental stage, and then y'all signed him, put him with Swerve and the other weird white guy with the tattoos on his face, and then he was doing nothing for months, and you were still paying him. What?
A lot of these people have been doing nothing for months and being getting paid. This is Anthony Henry wrestled as Asher Hale in WWE. I have no idea who the fuck that is.
It was part of like that breakout class during the pandemic, and then they all got let go right after. He was in Cameron Grimes' breakout tournament class, I believe.
Okay, yeah. I see him now. He looks very AEW coded, but he's been out with a jaw injury, and people are like, you shouldn't fire him with a jaw injury. And I'm like, apparently he got his jaw injured on the Indies, so I guess that he's like, all right, you ain't not in my business. Go find your own doctor. Tate Twins, Dalton Castle, Stu Grayson, 2 stints within the company. Is working ROH. Yeah, I mean, all these, who cares? Like, all these people have not been a factor in God knows how long. To be honest with you, they still got bigger fish to fry in that company. There needs to be
enough. I'm like, y'all need to keep going.
Just keep going.
There's a lot of people that need to go. They need to go.
Can't believe y'all would release them on the same week as ROH as a pay-per-view. Man, release ROH. How about that?
No, it feels bad to okay, listen. We're not exclaiming releases, but in the sense of like, this is a company that needs to survive off of, that needs to survive, and they keep like paying people exorbitant amounts of money to like just sit around. It's crazy. Like, it's crazy.
You only work once a week. Like,
bro, I'm like, yo, you want to look like, and I get it. They want to look like they're pro labor and that they're pro a lot of things, and then business and actual capitalism catches up to them. And I think that a lot of people thought that they were exempt, and I'm like, no company is exempt from this type of behavior. I'm sorry to tell you, like, that everyone's going to eventually have to deal with this type of thing, and it sucks and it's terrible. But I feel like these are not indicative of the larger issue, is that some of the top stars that they have right now are making so much money, and they didn't need to make that much fucking money. Like, it's so crazy that y'all are paying Edge. I know y'all paying Edge crazy. I know you paying Cesaro something that the WWE didn't want to pay him. Like, it's like the, you know how they do in the NBA when the contracts get too big, then they got to have the fucking CBA and all that shit. Like, that's where we at right now, because the money getting handed out so crazy right now.
It's not making sense. It really isn't. But hey, it's not our fucking company.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But realistically, it looks sketchy. There needs to be more releases, and they need to get more from, I don't know. I don't want to say just start releasing people, and y'all need to start releasing people more often. Hopefully everyone has a job. But realistically, like, the business part of it seems to be very much pushed to the backseat of a lot of things.
That's where they at.
Speaking of business stuff, heard the news. Cody resigned to WWE.
Yeah, he said I wanted to retire when I was 40, but this is past my 40th birthday. I mean, there's so many signs of things going on here, but Cody should definitely not retire when he's 40.
Yeah, come on, bro. Like, the Miz is 40, like, too. Like, come on.
Yeah. I've been watching the Challenge Inferno too, and I'm like, damn, the Miz was already in character during this season of the show. He was already saying "ooh, hoorah," whatever the fuck. He was already saying.
Yeah. He knew that they were watching.
Yeah.
And the funny part is, they say it in the they don't show the reunion shits on the Paramount.
Plus. Mm-hmm.
But the after thing, he was doing a lot of this posturing because he knew WWE was watching and he didn't want to look like a punk. That's why he was mad when people would sacrifice themselves into elimination for him and all these other stuff like that. Like it's so interesting watching Miz back then. Yeah, I agree.
What were they watching the challenge for? But
hey, Malachi Black, he's got his first singles match in over 2 years in AEW.
On Dynamite?
On Rampage.
Let my man
shit.
Free my mans, bruh. How you feel about Dominic Mysterio being the king of the Latinos right now?
They were like one segment away from a hookah just being pulled out in the middle of it and just and everyone just living it up and shit.
They're landing on thick that Dom is not long for the group.
Yeah.
They're laying on very thick. I think it's time. I think it really is time for him to go. And Andrade Dom is a squad. I think that's a really good person to learn from.
I agree. It's when they came on screen together, I pointed, it's the Spider-Man meme. But that was also pretty spot on.
You want to run through Stand and Deliver right quick? I'm just trying to get everything out.
We also have one more match that was added that we not talk about on these shows.
Oh yeah, we have to talk about that too.
So
I'm very excited.
Let's Stand and Deliver. I bet you are.
Live from Wells Fargo Center in Philadelphia, Stand and Deliver. I'm going to be real. A lot of people on this show need to be gone after this weekend.
But also, if they're gone, what is this damn?
I know.
What is this roster?
I know of at least one person that this is probably going to be their last NXT show or NXT pay-per-view.
We are one pay-per-view away from, I'm pretty sure, Sean Spears main eventing against Ilya.
Jesus. It's very developmental again in NXT.
I agree.
It's very developmental again, especially when they had fucking what's her name? She dates Carmelo. Kalani.
Kalani, yeah.
She coming out, tying her hair up, fighting bitches. I'm like, all right, man. They pushing.
Listen,
right now.
We're back at 2.0. That's essentially what it is. We're restarting them. It'll make sense in 2 years when everybody is the biggest version of themselves. But right now, we gotta live through this or have been released and are in AEW currently. But it's not making sense now, but it'll make sense hopefully.
It'll make sense later. Yeah, it'll make sense later. So let's run through it really quick. Baron Corbin and Braun Breaker versus the winners of that tournament. The tournament's gonna be ending tonight, so we don't know who it is.
Nuts. To me, it could have just been done last week.
Who we thinking here? Axiom, Nathan, OC, or Latino World? It's got to be. That's actually an interesting trio here. I don't know.
Give it to the NXT people, please.
I don't know. Well, if the idea is that what's his name is imminent or already signed, Tema, then the OC should be giving people red flags in terms of what they're going to be doing down there. Honestly,
you feel like Tama Tonga will go to NXT?
Yeah.
Okay.
Or he could not, and
that's what I'm saying. I'm like, you kind of old, bro.
Yeah, you're right. Or you could not. I think you need to learn some shit.
That's true.
You need to learn some shit.
He ain't gonna learn it. You ain't gonna learn it from fucking Luke Gallows and Carl Edison. I'm telling you that.
Axiom and Nathan Frazier, because they had that match with the Wolf Dogs a couple weeks ago. That was amazing, and I think
they deserve it.
Yeah, I think they deserve the tag titles. They've been floundering for a very long time.
Done? Yeah, I was like, come on, give Axiom something, please.
Yeah, I really love Axiom. I think Nathan Frazier's dope, and I think as a team they've managed to keep them relatively on TV and doing things, but not winning the big one. So let them win the big one. So I guess it's those. I guess it's those two teams. It's time for them to drop the titles. Braun has bigger fish to fry on SmackDown.
And I imagine Corbin does eventually as well.
Yeah,
you can't stay on this planet forever.
Yeah, you gotta bring your ass back. Come on, come on, nigga. Don't. Yeah.
Sean Spears is there. Dijak is there.
Yeah,
everyone you'll be fine.
You'll be fine. Lyra Valkyria versus Roxanne Perez. I think she's had that title for a while. I do think it's time for her to drop it to Roxanne and the Roxanne to get a good prolonged run with that title. It makes sense. It does make sense. I think Lyra's had it for a minute.
Yeah, and I think there's more opponents for Roxanne
than there is
than Lyra. Yeah, and yeah. I would believe a lot more with Roxanne than Lyra currently.
Obafemi versus Dijak versus Josh Briggs for the North American Championship. This is really for Dijak to be the ring general that we know he is.
Right.
And pretty much this is the Dijak match.
Josh Briggs ain't a slouch either. I'll say that. I think he's got good people. Obafemi's got good people around him. There was a report that was recent that they have a lot of confidence in Obafemi moving forward. I'm assuming this reign continues because of that. I wouldn't be mad if they gave it to Dijak. I feel like Dijak should be the recipient of something at some point. Because back in the day, NXT used to like give you titles if you worked really, really hard.
Yeah.
Like it was like
I'm still not too sold on Obafemi. I'm gonna be real. I'm still not too sold on him. He's got an aura, he's got a look. In ring is still not impressive to me.
He's got to figure out I think he's still got to figure out his look. I still think he has to figure out like his actual look and like how he's going to dress, how he's going to present himself, a lot of things like that. But his sheer presence alone is what makes him as attractive as he is in this match.
Ilya Dragunov versus Tony D'Angelo for the NXT Championship. It's pretty clear that Tony's going back to his heel ways. I think that plays a part. I don't think it's time for Ilya to drop the title, at least not if they're not main eventing. And I think that he finds a way to get away from the chicanery of the mob. Right. Ilya has some time left. I know there's been reports that people are ready for him to get called up. They're saying it's not time yet because he's still got that title, but you know they see him as a big priority, as he should be. I think he's got the potential to be a Seth Rollins level or above star when he gets there.
Right.
I agree. I think he is. I think he's definitely ready. He's gone through the fire. There's so many good things. We both love this guy. You know what I mean? But it's not time yet, and it's not time yet for him to lose a championship. In my opinion,
he's someone I could see getting called up and having the belt, but it still wouldn't be right now.
Yeah.
It still wouldn't be right now.
Some people
I'm going with it. Yeah. I'm going with Ilya though, of course.
Yeah.
Tony D. I'm looking forward to see how Tony D. This is his first major, really first major singles kind of like thing in a long ass time.
Yeah.
And this is his first NXT Championship match. I'm interested to see how he meets the moment.
Yeah.
So I'm interested to see that. It might make me say like this. He might need to stay in NXT for a little bit longer.
Well, it's been 2 years. We know that like you only really get 2 years before you gotta shit or get off the pot. You know what I'm saying?
This is true.
And then the main event, well deserved by all intents and purposes here. Trick Williams versus Carmelo Hayes. I am looking forward to this.
That prime target was something. That prime target was something, bro.
So good. Didn't even know that the Trick had ties in Philadelphia. So again, it's all kind of coming full circle for him. I remember last year, at Mania, when Trick and Mello were at the Skybox, we were literally sitting like right below them, and we could just see them just looking and watching out there. And Trick and Pretty Deadly both stayed longer than everybody else did, and they both watched the show. And
this couldn't be me, man. This gonna be me, man. Trust me.
From that moment, I was like, okay, I see it for those three. You know what I'm saying? I see it for those three, and I was like, that's those guys are gonna be something. This is gonna be great. It's gonna be the biggest test for Trick, honestly.
I agree.
It's gonna be the biggest test for him to see if he can really go main event level. Mello, we know how great he is. It's just a matter of what brand can he put it together on? What brand will he be able to put it together on? And get past like I honestly think there might be a lot with his size. There could be an issue, but I think if the personality does connect, I think he's gonna be great. But I see this as being his last hurrah on NXT.
I feel like he got a little bit more time left, like a tiny little bit more time left.
You think a rematch?
Yeah, either a rematch. Yeah, I think pretty much a rematch. Him maybe putting over people have floated that around in Discord. Him putting over Javon Carter, who's getting some buzz on the NXT the loops. So I could see him lasting just a tiny bit longer, but this is essentially like the beginning of the swan song. Like he should essentially be out of here. Trick Williams, I see him crowning this moment, and this begins the build back around to Ilya.
Yeah,
that's what I'm assuming.
Yeah,
and by NXT Heat Wave, it should be this big rematch between Ilya Dragunov and Trick Williams.
Yeah, for the title.
Yeah, no Fugazi, nobody interfering, no nothing. The true test for Trick Williams, can he do it? And that's where we get what we get.
Not for nothing, this card has none of their new, fresh developmental talent on it at all. All of them.
I feel like they're gonna add one more. I feel like they're gonna add
Chase
JC and JC's Cabaret versus Thea Hale and them. So I feel like they're gonna add that match to it because another women's match, they deserve it.
So that is Stand and Deliver. Is there anything else on the newswire that we're missing?
We have another match that was added at WrestleMania yesterday. That we have not talked about in future videos for this because we're recording the intro essentially last. It is what we expected, or at least what we heard. It is a 6-man tag street fight. It is Karrion Kross and AOP versus Bobby Lashley and the Street Profits. They made it to WrestleMania, damn it. It was very close for Bobby. If Bobby didn't make it to WrestleMania, it would have. You probably would have been happy.
He would have came out like he did last year and said, "I'm here," and then left.
Look at my statue, right?
Listen, a lot of people were like, "When is this gonna kind of blow off?" They're giving it to you here. I don't want to hear no more complaints. I think 4K. Oh, sorry. The Final Testament has been.
We're on video now, baby.
Has been they've given Karrion a little bit of like something to sink your teeth into, whether you like it or not. He has, kind of like a huge faction that does things. I think here you have to kind of legitimize one of these teams. I don't know who it is on the outset. I think one team is working a little bit better than the other, and I think it's the team of people who people don't like it that much. And I think that the Profits and Bobby thing, the experience has it bore fruit? Has this bore fruit at all?
I don't think any of them have bore any kind of fruit.
You're wilding. You're wilding. Final Testament.
Karrion Kross has not won anything.
The K is 4.
Meaningful.
The K is 4. The K is 4.
All right.
And Karrion, the Karrion Kross coven complete.
I'm happy to see my guys on WrestleMania. I look forward to see what they do in this street fight.
Dump Bobby Lashley and go get them fucking titles. Actually, we do have to speak on something from the future that we talked about in the past, which is literally a day ago. They changed the tag team title rules, but they kind of line up with what we were talking about anyway. So we had prophesized correctly that it would be 2 sets of titles and they'd have to take the 2 sets. So when you guys hear that, just imagine that we knew that already. And that's what we said.
Before we transition to what we have to talk about, which is the predictions of the show, people are gonna be like, "Wow, you have an hour-long intro for predictions? Who the fuck do you guys think you are?" Let's talk about. They released the schedule for night 1 and night 2.
Yep.
Let's go through it. It'll be a nice little preamble before we get into the prediction of this card. Let's see which night could possibly steal the show. So night 1, it's Rhea Ripley versus Becky Lynch for the Women's World Championship.
Called it.
Then Gunther versus Sami Zayn for the WWE Intercontinental Championship.
Mm-hmm.
The 6-pack tag team ladder match for the undisputed WWE Tag Team Championships. Jimmy versus Jay will also be on night 1, which is interesting. Bianca Belair, Jade, Naomi versus Damage Control, night 1. They were separated from the Bayley part.
Mm-hmm.
Latino World Order versus Santos Escobar and Dirty Dom. And then, of course, the tag team main event, the Bloodline versus Cody Rhodes and Seth freaking Rollins. There's a lot of tag team matches on this fucking. There's like 4 tag team matches on night 1.
And show.
Night 2 is Seth Rollins versus Drew McIntyre for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. Io Sky versus Bayley for the WWE Women's Championship. LA Knight versus AJ Styles in a singles match. Why did I put just single? Logan Paul versus Randy Orton versus Kevin Owens. The Pride versus the Final Testament in a 6-man Philadelphia street fight. Okay. And of course, the main event, Roman Reigns versus Cody Rhodes for the undisputed WWE Universal Championship.
It's balanced. It's balanced.
Which night do you feel like will have the better card though?
It's got to be night 1 on the outset right now, right? It's got the Rock match on it. They're gonna go all out for that.
It's got a ladder match. It's got Gunther.
Yeah,
it's got Becky.
And to be clear, I don't even think the tag match is gonna be better than the Gunther and Sammy match.
No, but I feel like people are gonna show out.
But I will say that like it's more balanced in the past couple years of these 2 shows. I think that every year night 2 has been kind of like, well, we back again, night 2. Let's just chill. Right. You know what I'm saying? This year, no, you got the Bayley match that you're gonna care about. You've got the LA Knight, which people love LA Knight. They're gonna care about that. The thing is like, how do you kind of got to do the bloodline rules thing, man. The more I think about it, like the way that this match is set up, you kind of have to do the bloodline rules.
I don't even know how bloodline rules. Bloodline rules is just a no DQ match, but whatever.
Hey man, but they should have made it so that only bloodline members could interfere and nobody else. That would have been like crazy.
That would have been nuts.
But yeah, I think both nights look solid though. You know, if I had to just say right now, I think night 1 looks like it would be better on paper, but you know, that's on paper. We got to actually see what happens.
Amen. Enough of this on paper talk, because we got a show coming up for you. Let's get into this, Justin.
Yeah. We're doing what we're doing here. The women first.
No, we're gonna do. Why did I say no? Undercard. The undercard. It's the first set of the undercard. Shout out to Stat Guy Greg for joining us.
To him. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We had a really good conversation with Greg. It's actually funny because he had a plumber that came over and he just kept like appearing throughout the whole fucking recording. It was so funny. Wait, we didn't miss anything. We didn't miss anything, did we? Not on the cards? It's over?
No, it's over. It's over.
You done everything?
For the most part, except just get to the matches.
Okay, all right. Well, thank you guys for listening to this. We're going to get into the first segment. We're going to go all the way through to the end of the show for WrestleMania 40 XL, whatever you want to call it. We'll be right back on the A Show.